songs of the sirens are the lures of temptation, of whatever sort. Even Odysseus was able to avoid disaster only because he had been warned of their treachery, and he had his men tie him to the mast, lest he yield to their song. There are two lessons here. The first is, of course, to be ever vigilant and cautious when temptation is nearby. The second reminds me of the advice a very wise teacher, whom both Mom and I knew, gave us. He said, never worry alone. Uneasy about the power of the sirens, Odysseus had his friends help him avoid disaster.
Not about me. Tonight is not about me, even though it really should be. Tonight is about the night before your wedding, and I thought instead of a book theme, I'd like to talk about a movie theme to help you perhaps have a thought or two about how to have a successful marriage.
You do know how to read,
What is one of the most romantic movies of all time? It's The Godfather. And I was thinking about The Godfather and all it teaches us about marriage, and I thought this would be a perfect movie for us to discuss very briefly. That's right, it was a book. And in all seriousness, page 29 of The Godfather, look it up for your wedding night of the book. Great scene. Sonny, but that's in the whole other story. There's children here, Sam, we can't discuss it. But I'm sure you're all thinking that I'm going to talk about the romantic scene where the Godfather tells Sonny never take sides against the family. No. That's not the scene that I'm going to be talking about. It's very romantic, but no. I'm actually going to talk about the scene where Michael talks to Fredo, another very romantic scene. But I think it's very good wedding advice. And basically, what Michael imparts to Fredo before he kills him, he imparts to him basically that you can't take sides against the family. No matter what, was it Barzini that that's not important. You must stick with the family. And so what I suggest to Sam and Amy, and I think every married couple here must agree, no matter what's going on outside, you two are a unit. And you stick together no matter what. If the other families are coming against you, like in The Godfather, you stick together, you just watch each other's back, so to speak. So, cheers. Salud.
Everything you said to me was bullshit. I'm saying something. Not him. I was saying something before he was. That's the Godfather scene. Let me remind everybody about the scene where Michael comes back. He tracks down Kay on the street, walks up to her and says, Kay, he put all the emotion in that to negotiate a contract for cement. It's a business deal to him, okay? He needs her to provide for the children. He has no feeling for her whatsoever. The love of his life is Apollonia.
Apollonia.
Apollonia. Apollonia was spread over every island in the Mediterranean. That the tragedy of the Godfather is that Michael never got to live a married life with literally the love of his life, which is Apollonia. And Sam, you're not in that position. You're going to live your life out with the love of your life. And that is just the most wonderful joy you can imagine in life. I have to tell you one more thing. I remember when you were born, and we live in a completely, utterly different world now than we lived in 1951. When you were born, everything has changed. Everything is different. We've got computers, we've got your phone to each other, we're sitting next to each other, talking on the phone, I don't get it. But God knows where we're going in the future with technology. Nobody can predict it, all right? So, technology, new things happen all the time, it's kind of exciting. But the things that are going to keep you together and in love and having a wonderful marriage are the time immemorial qualities of affection, love, trust, partnership, And testing. Especially pictures. That's what's going to keep it together. So, as society changes and our technology changes in the future, that's all well and good. But you're going to have, your marriage will be successful because I know that you two possess the things, the basic skills that
The first occasion was when he was on the changing table.
He never changed it.
Changing from what?
It was 2 years ago. The second occasion.
Times, do you?
Beg pardon?
You don't subscribe to the New York Times.
Yeah. This is a mistake.
Only pretty careful.
The second occasion, he was in his high chair and food ended up distributed around the kitchen. And on the third occasion, we were in the car and the automobile accident shouldn't really be discussed. And but I've decided to put the advice aside as well. Although I will publish it later for any who are interested. I think you might be particularly. But I'm left in a spot that I think I'd prefer to be in anyway, which is an opportunity to celebrate and appreciate our lives and our many, many blessings. And that Sam and Amy have found each other and committed themselves to one another today is certainly one of those blessings, most especially for them, but also, I think, for all of us. From the first time I saw them with one another, it seemed to me quite clear that there was a little more afoot than just dating. And in a somewhat slow and quiet way, that wasn't that slow or quiet, actually, come to think of it, they've grown closer and more bonded to each other. And today, they've made their bond permanent. And we're here in an incredibly beautiful setting where we can appreciate their union and also the beauty and elegance of this natural world. And as you can see, the theme of this wedding, thanks to Amy, is the chicken. Have you picked up on this?
What are you looking for?
Thinking of this, and as a companion to my remarks, I've brought along 2 eggs, really to remind us of nature's wonders, which are occasionally edible.
You realize there are like glasses of wine everywhere. This is hard boiled.
As I think as a parent, eggs can break. Or not. These are hard boiled. People often refer to the perfection of nature like the perfect shape of the egg. But nature is not perfect. Eggs can break or not. Nor need your marriage be perfect. It will not be. It might be elegant and beautiful and have all the wonderful simplicity of eggs, or it may be occasionally a mess on the kitchen floor. What nature does have, in remarkable abundance, is resilience. And when things fall out of their equilibrium, you can always find ways to reestablish it. I wish this for you at the outset of your lives together. Do not aspire to perfection. Do not despair when you cannot achieve it. Aspire to sustain a harmonious equilibrium. Notice attentively when it begins to fail and courageously attend to it. This is something you can only do together and celebrate together. Of course, the egg is also a symbol of birth, of beginnings, of fresh opportunities. In fact, they are the astounding vessels of new life. So I've brought them as gifts to wish for you all the enormous joy and triumph of having a family. Nothing in the end means more than having children to carry on in the world. No love can ever match in depth of significance the primordial meaning, the love we feel, that Mom and I feel for you and for Lee. I'm already beginning to feel it for my grandchildren, who I assume are little eggs. Just guessing about this.
No pressure. No.
I have a responsibility to mention it.
You promised.
I have two more gifts to give you in addition to a toast and eggs. And one, of course, is bacon. I don't know what
I can get behind this.
I don't know what the bacon symbolizes, but I didn't want to shortchange you on this.
Wow. Is that yours?
The second, however, is this balance.
Please don't throw that.
Sam's proud of you and Kelly's nice.
Sure, take it.
Wave the bacon. Okay.
In addition to resilience, I hope this balance will remind you daily of the importance of balance in your lives together. It represents, at least to me, and I hope it will to you, the appreciation that every single thing you do in your marriage will affect the person on the other end of the balance you share. Marriage is forever a balancing act. Sustain a clear awareness that your every act will affect your partner in some way. Consider compassionately that every day, every act in your life is affecting another person. Maintaining this balance will give your life together a power and confidence which builds strength over time. Finally, and in closing, I was going to read from the prophet, as is required at every wedding.
And so you are, I hope.
Tonight I've decided to simply give you the prophet for you to read to each other. I do love you both, and I welcome your union as husband and wife and as a part of our family. And I realize that I actually did end up giving you advice. I hope you'll forgive me. But congratulations, enjoy.
Look at this kid here. Look at that face. I look at him. That's Sam at age 12. He reminds me of Sam.
Yes.
Same bad haircut, same face, same loose-fitting clothes, same rotten attitude. And I think about you in college. I remember when your college graduation in Guilford, I'm looking around thinking to myself, wow, this is kind of, I spent the whole weekend kind of feeling guilty by playing things. I could get a $50 bill that has Grant's picture on it. I felt bad about that. I was thinking to myself, boy, I wonder if there's any Civil War battles going around here. And little I know, I'm sitting right on the spot where people were murdering each other during the Revolutionary War. There's a big battle there, and another big one during the Civil War. And all this was kind of,
He's so romantic, isn't he?
all this stuff's kind of lost to time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, what I really want to say to you is this: there's going to come a time, I'm sure, the two of you will have children. All right, and
Or not.
I hope your first child's a masculine child. Sorry, I had to get into this. The funny thing about time, though, is that
He's nothing if that
you're
inappropriate.
not. Once you have a child, baby, okay, you will not have any recollection about life before that, except for today. You'll remember getting married. It'll be in there somewhere. You'll remember right there. But the rest of it, forget it. There is nothing else. It's just had a baby, life began there. So, what I'd like to do is come back 10 or 15 years from now and have you guys say to me that, you were right. Believe me when I say, listen, look at this face. I'm a defeated old man. I was 51 years old when I got married. I couldn't find a woman who would show me what to do. I couldn't figure it out. So keep that in the back of your mind. Don't wait till 51 to have kids.
Especially you. Congratulations.
And I apologize, but I don't know that I've ever told you this story. Can everybody hear me okay? 7, 8 years ago, I went with Sam to Arizona. We had a weekend where we watched a football game, we went to an NBA game, we saw 3 movies, including Ocean's 11, which was horrible. But we had a great weekend, and I remember it specifically because I was an old married guy at the time, and Sam was very single. So what do old married guys want to talk about with single guys? What's going on in your love life? What's going on with dating and all that? And at the time, Sam was not seeing anybody in particular, and I was asking him every detail possible. And he was being very evasive, but he kept going back to this one girl. And he kept saying, I kept saying, yeah, but not just one. Tell me about all of them, Sam. And Sam was like, no, it's really just this one. It's just this one. And I remember I had a great weekend, except for the fact that he was really boring. I wanted these stories, and he just kept talking about this one girl. He has his hand right now on the shoulder of that one girl. And this was years ago, so I remember it very, very explicitly. I'll never forget. It was a great weekend, and I remember all he talked about that weekend. He was incredibly dull. So that's the first thing I want to say. And then the last thing I want to say very quickly is this. I thought about what profession is similar to marriage. I thought about it, and I think it's an astronaut in space. Think about it. Isolation, periods of lack of communication. It's an astronaut. So as a result of my theme from last night, I thought Apollo 13 is much like marriage. I think Apollo 13 is actually sort of a metaphor for marriage.
Oh my God.
You have tremendous ideals. You're going to get to the moon. Something may blow up. In this it might happen. And what happens when something blows up? It only gets worse. You're going to have a lack of oxygen. You're going to feel, I can't breathe. Carbon dioxide is going to fill your house. There's going to be, exactly. There's going to be fear about re-entry. You may burn up. But what happens to those astronauts? They live. They prosper. They survive. What did NASA say? NASA said we're going to bring them home alive. And that's what this marriage is going to be.